Go.
So a new discovery.
Antarctica.
Antarctica. Climate crisis. Penguins.
Artificial intelligence.
It's cold, Basil. It's cold. Antarctica, go first. Snowstorm. Antarctica. Ice. Scientists are penguins. Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
They're opening
That's
the
right.
abyss.
They're opening the abyss. Before we end the show, we have to check in with Antarctica, the utopia of secular wokeism. They are creating a heaven for the future of humanity and trying to lure, as all heavens require, liberal white liberals, rich white liberals who need to pay for it, apparently.
Yeah, the white desert.
Jimmy Buffett's down there, folks. Jimmy Buffett's going to be playing some concerts on a boat. You can go to luxury accommodations. The ideological colonization of the wokeism, as it's known, is all prevalent and waiting for you in the future utopia for humanity, Antarctica. What are they up to now, Gons?
Started by the Nazis at the earliest that we know. All right. Stuff.co.nz here has a headline. Nelson built camera strong enough to take on Antarctica.
Ooh.
Our surveillance apparatus.
Versus Antarctica. Who will win?
A Nelson-based tech firm, Snap IT, has created a video camera strong enough to withstand the extreme weather of Antarctica. Snap IT project lead Matt Walters said the camera is strong enough to record during temperatures of negative 60 degrees Celsius, wind speeds over 300 kilometers per hour, and even being engulfed in flames.
I think there's a hint here, Gons. The negative 60 degrees Celsius makes sense for Antarctica. The 300 kilometers per hour makes sense in Antarctica. Not sure why they made it fireproof. Perhaps,
inside the earth, man, the hollow earth. Once you go down there, you got the second sun in there. You know, it's scorching hot.
When the abyss opens up in Antarctica and the flames of hell come and engulf the continent, these cameras will survive long enough to broadcast it to the world.
Sounds like they're going to survive Armageddon and the apocalypse, both. But the camera's most impressive feature is that it is equipped with AI technology that turn images into visual data ready for research and analysis.
What is, Gons, can I ask you perhaps a philosophical question? I don't,
Sure.
What is an image if not visual data? Isn't the very nature of an image the fact that it is, at its very constituency, visual data?
Hey, Basil.
Why did we need AI to do this for us?
Listen, you're cutting out. You froze for a moment there.
No, weird. This is more freezing and cutting out than we've had on any regular show day. Maybe my internet guy. So I'm off the grid here. I've got a weird internet company that beams it to my house with a laser.
You need to hook up to the Starlink. You got the Starlink.
It's just a guy. No, I'm not.
His name's not Elon. I know. I'm saying you need to do it.
I do need to do it, and I will do it. I'll set it up. But the CEO of the company is just the guy who owns the tower, and I've got his
he's
phone
also the
number.
Tech and
also
help
the tech.
desk.
He's also the installer and everything. And I've got his number, and he's like, I talked to him and I said, hey man, I kind of have some pretty intense bandwidth needs, and it's a little bit above what you offer. Can we make a deal or something here? Long story short, he's a very generous fella. He boosts my signal on show days, but Sunday is not a show day. So I think maybe he's not boosting my signal today.
Let me ask you a question right back at you.
Okay.
What is physical reality and our perception of it if it's not simply visual data?
Deep, Guns. Very deep. That's very good.
Anyway, I think your point being that, yes, they are capturing data.
Yeah.
Walter said the combination of AI technology and hardiness made the camera a world-leading piece of technology. Unlike many other smart cameras, our AI technology runs directly on the camera itself.
Ooh, local AI.
Rather than having to copy the video to a cloud system or another computer, this is a real game changer in real-time data capture. Walter said, like VHS tape or something.
No, it's fun, Gons. It's locally, hosted AI on each camera. That means each camera can become sentient separately
and have its own memories.
Yeah, we don't have a hive mind of AI. We have individual persons. Now we can really get into the personhood of AI. I love that they are building the artificially intelligent surveillance state panopticon in Antarctica before everybody moves there. Like that was the problem with our technocracy now.
The American technocracy it's been a long uphill battle.
The people were there already, and so to build the surveillance state around them kind of was difficult, especially because you got to trick everybody into consenting, and it's just a mess. But if you build the surveillance state first and then people move into it, there you go. Now you can have your AI hive mind smart continent. Antarctica, the smart continent. No, we don't need smart cities if we have a whole smart continent. I think that this fits directly into the master lizard people plans for Antarctica.
Well, of course, it's a smart continent would be the stepping stone to a smart Earth and the noosphere, the global brain that we're all building together. Speaking of brains, Walter likened the Snap IT AI to a powerful, adaptable brain built into the camera, which measured and calculated images recorded by the camera. If the camera recorded a section of forest, it would be able to calculate the height of the trees in the frame without the need of a scientist or external software. Step aside, scientists. You were exposed during COVID. You're being replaced by AI that can measure better than you. The new technology was put to the test when it was attached to the ship on the HMS Aotearoa on its resupply mission to Scott Base. The camera was tasked with recording hours of footage of Antarctic ice flows so that ocean research group Oceanum and Defense Technology Agency could track the impacts of climate change. Always that's climate change right there. It's always climate.
It fits right into the master plan. Climate change is the reason for surveillance of your social participation, your social credit, your carbon credits, your how much waste you create. The panoptica, the security state panopticon, is only aided and abetted by the justification of the climate change crisis.
It's wild because out of all the things, that you can, it's difficult to get to Antarctica in general, right? Unless you got a ticket to the Jimmy Buffett concert or whatever. And, but you try to think about how they're trying to make it appealing to go there. And here's my point. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there because I was trying to do two things at once. My point was these cameras, these like built-in AI, local AI cameras. This is probably the cutting edge. I don't know. I think they would want every camera to have this, right? This AI aspect. It's probably the beginning of that technology being more out in the open. And because, the same way that the trend of, what are those things called? Those little cameras that people use now? GoPros. GoPros became very popular and everybody had to get them. If you're skydiving or if you're GoPro would benefit from getting this AI type of thing in their cameras. And then now you have, with every piece of footage you take, you have a lot more data right at your fingertips. You don't have to go through the process of breaking down or creating algorithms to measure things or whatever that you saw. All that data is stored on the camera. I think that's a big step in the surveillance state and making it desirable to the general public, because I can picture YouTubers.
Yeah, it's a privacy thing. It's a privacy advocate type of thing.
Sure, it can be. But if you're like an influencer or an Instagrammer, or you're making content on YouTube or something like that, a video camera that is able to extract that kind of data can be very useful. I can see people creating content around that technology. And maybe Antarctica will be, because look, we're connecting dots here. Think about the camera. Think about the booze cruise. Imagine if the booze cruise had these cameras to record not just the landscape for climate change or whatever, but it records their emotions, and it has algorithms that do all kinds of facial recognition stuff too. I don't know. I'm just trying to connect some dots here.
You're going at it. It's good stuff, man.
The one thing, it's a super AI surveillance cameras are cool in Antarctica, but one thing that's not are drones.
Yeah, this is a fun part here. This is coming from slashgear.com. /gear. The reason why drones are banned in Antarctica. No drones allowed, Gons.
But
get your drones out of here.
But Obama said something different about drones.
Drone strikes have saved lives.
Can we shoot them down if over our property?
Drones.
They save lives. You don't want Antarctica doesn't want lives saved?
As drone technology, it's the white desert, Gons.
Oh, sorry.
As drones technology has advanced and the hobby of drone photography has proliferated, we have become accustomed to being regaled by unseen images from the heart of a volcano to incredible sweeping panoramas. Just don't expect to see anything from Antarctica anytime soon. Antarctica is known as the bottom of the world because you're looking at a globe. Yeah, we get it. Okay. Winter temperatures along the coast range between. Okay, they're just giving us a little biography of Antarctica. This barren land of snow and ice has no native human population to call its own. There are no countries within its borders, and no government, quote, owns it. Antarctica
you know what this sounds like? I'm sorry, just to interrupt you. When you were reading that sentence right there, it reminded me of John Lennon's Imagine. Imagine there's no country,
barren land of ice and snow, no native human population,
no government to
imagine there's no people.
Well, the googly eyes are singing to you all.
Living here on the snow. That's my John Lennon / what's that guy's name? Dave Matthews Band impersonation.
Wow.
Despite having no indigenous people, Antarctica hosts a bevy of permanent research bases. I don't care. Just tell me about the drones. Now I was talking about 1959, 12 countries signed the Antarctic Treaty. Don't care. Tell me about the drones.
No, the headline for that segment is "Your drone can become a popsicle." And then it goes into 1959.
Cold drones.
Treaty.
Yeah. Because no one country actually owns Antarctica, travelers don't need a visa. Oh my gosh. If you don't tell me about drones right now, it is 10 paragraphs about everything we already know about Antarctica. The very last paragraph. The International Association of Antarctica Tour Operators, IATO, has... Gonzo.
Yeah.
IATO has deemed that drone use in such an inhospitable environment will be detrimental to the local wildlife and the environment. Temperatures can be far too cold for most commercial drone batteries to operate normally. Erratic, gusty winds can easily cause drones to crash and harm local wildlife or go down in inaccessible locations where they can't be recovered, where they in turn may get eaten by curious penguins or leopard seals. The reason why you can't bring a drone to Antarctica is because it might be eaten by a penguin. The penguins might eat your drone. And you might think this sounds silly, folks, but in our long legacy of covering Antarctica on this show, we have discovered that there are indeed Nephilim penguins. You learned about
Mummified
the Nephilim during the
penguins.
outbreak,
Yeah.
and their large giantessness. But there are giant penguins, so large and hungry, evidently, that they will eat your drones and get a tummy ache. So that's why an international treaty had to be crafted to keep your drone off of the continent. The reasoning for this is so ludicrous and
yes.
I mean, obviously, like somebody had to answer this question.
Yeah.
In public, off the top of their head, like they were doing the treaty.
Sure, yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, the treaty says no drones."
It's
and
too
he's
cold.
like, "Yes."
Like,
why?
It's gusty.
Why
It's
can't we have
erratic.
drones.
It's
cold
it'll
and
crash.
there's wind, and the penguin will eat your drone, and that's bad for the penguins.
No,
so
you know what
stop
this
asking
is?
questions.
I know what this is. Here's my take. They
Hot
want
take, everybody.
They want to make sure the airspace is clear, because this is where the UFOs come in and out of the Hollow Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So the airspace has to. They can't have drones, man. They're gonna see all them crafts.
Exactly. I think it's that. I think you got to keep the airspace clear.
Yeah.
For the UFOs, the Nazi UFOs, and yeah, you can't have drones going up high into the sky and seeing the entrance to the Hollow Earth, and it's espionage reasons.
It's too much stuff.
National security. It's such a suspicious reason that it must have to do with UFOs, and that's just logic, folks.
It's logic.
Ever heard of it?
And they must listen to our show. Why would they mention curious penguins eating drones unless they had some idea of our milieu here on the show?
They're hinting.
Weird podcast.
They're hiding in plain sight, folks.
Oh, man.
They don't want the drones, and they don't want to let you know where the Nazi UFO bases are.
Okay.
So I think we cracked that one wide open. You heard it here first, and soon Adam Carolla will steal it from us. So just remember where it came from.
Yeah.